today, or good evening. Depends on when you're listening.
Well, that's it. You can be listening to us any time of the day. That's the beauty of the podcast, isn't it, girlfriend? You can just watch it whenever you see fit.
Well, you don't even have to watch it. You can actually just listen to it.
You can.
And
You don't
even
even
if
have
you
to look
don't
at
see
us.
fit, just pop it in your ear holes and listen to our dulcet tones. We are Angie and Yvie. We are Two Girls, One Pod. I am on Wurundjeri country. You're on Turrbal land. Let's get into it. How is your week? Who cares? What
Who
about
gives
MAFS?
a shit? Let's dive straight. We're not here to spiders. I don't care what you did. You don't care what I did. Let's talk about MAFS, baby.
Let's talk about it. My God, I'm obsessed with this show. Again, as I always am, every year, we are goggle boxes to the pure heart
Of us.
That's what we do. And it is a shame that we don't still live together because we have to watch these shows and just text each other and talk to each other. And we, save it all for the pod, which is wonderful. But it's hilarious that we don't watch these shows together anymore because they're just like the reactions. I know what your reaction is and you would know what my reaction is. But let's get straight into it. Let's just talk about Harrison straight off, the commitment ceremony.
Yeah. Slam dunk. Let's do it.
I saw him in John Aiken in an interview saying that he was the worst. Like he is the hardest contestant that he's ever had to deal with. So look out. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, wow, we've got some stuff to have to happen, and it's already happening. Harrison just will not concede. And when he did finally say, I did feel bad to Bronte, it was like someone was sticking pins in his eyes and he was, being tortured and made to do it. But let's get to what he said he was apologising for. Do you want to tell me what your thoughts were?
Oh God. He only apologised because he was pretty much forced to in a room full of people because he had a girlfriend or whatever you want to call her, somebody he was banging leading up to the experiment. And he was like, well, I've had multiple people that I was seeing leading up to the experiment. That doesn't matter then. I'm in it now. And then obviously the three experts blew up. Everybody's faces were shooketh. And he just couldn't comprehend in his tiny little mind why it mattered that he was literally sleeping with someone before the day of he was with somebody of the day he got married. And he was like, well, I just don't see. And the fact he kept interrupting the professionals, there's so many things he did that my little fingers on my notes was just like,
yeah. Had you been masturbating, you would have orgasmed at least 3 times. Now
he couldn't have done it for me.
No, just those fingers going really fast the way they were. The way he just said, and to be quite frank, it is no one's business what I did before I walked down that aisle. He really backed himself that he had done nothing wrong. And just a side note, the mother's come out on Facebook just yesterday or the day before, and she is defending him. And I've commented on it and went, why do you think Harrison is the way he is then? To people, not to her. I'm like, this is why he's like the way he is. His mother thinks he's freaking perfect. This is the problem with so many men. Their parents teach them that it is okay to be a complete douchebag and we will love you and you are perfect and you are so good looking. That's another thing with Harrison. He keeps saying how good looking he is. Bronte keeps saying how good looking he is. Why? Who is thinking this man is good looking? Like, go off, short king. He's only 5'3", but I don't see anything about him.
Tiny king. I don't see it either, but you and I are such personality people that we could not see past those devil dick eyes. And you know what? The other week when I re-listened to our podcast back, it was just quite a emotional week for me. And I felt this immense sense of guilt for being so horrible about Harrison just because I'm a really guilty person. I don't condone his behaviour, and I do think that his behaviour is ghastly, but going and calling him like a piece of shit and over, I was just like, that's not really my, poison. Like, I don't really like to say horrible things like that. I like to get to the core. So I'm trying to this week talk about how much I dislike this person without calling him words like piece of shit or picking on his looks, because like I know his mum probably sounds like a bit of a moron too, but he's someone's child. And I'm like, oh, it makes me feel a bit sick.
And you know
But then I
what?
watch him.
Leave it up to me then, Dal.
Yeah, you can do it. You can use the profanities. I just feel like I tried to do that and I was writing my notes and I was just like, oh my God, I seriously, you trigger me so much. Like, I can't be nice. No, I don't want to be nice about him. I just don't want to call him a piece of shit. He is one. But I think there's a better way to say it.
But it's
Let's
more
call him a
that
devil dick.
He is a devil dick, but it's more that it's the I'm good looking and other people are not good looking. And it's like, well, that's subjective. Everyone's good looking to someone. And it's wonderful that you find yourself so good looking. But don't slam that down our throats, because we may not find you good looking.
I don't think he would ever think that we don't think. He would look at us, right, you and I, and he'd go, you only say that you're that I'm not good looking because I'd never fuck you. It's like you couldn't pay me enough to fuck you. Like you could not. I would rather, like old mate said, have a date with my toaster in a bath.
In a bath.
I legit would.
Kill my ass.
Kill my ass.
Another thing that Harrison said that was really awful at the commitment ceremony is he said, I was seeing someone. I didn't know she developed feelings. And Alessandra called him out and said, if you're sleeping with someone and you don't expect them to develop feelings, then there is something very, very missing in you, which I think, is an important thing to say. Now, through the week they had Intimacy Week, and before Intimacy Week had even started, there was a conversation between Harrison and Bronte which was so awful to watch, and she bit constantly. I kind of really wish she would calm down and say and just give him the 40 cents that he gives her. You know, how he just gives her those dull, dead eyes and he just goes, he never raises his voice kind of thing. I wish she would give that back to him, mirror that back to him, because I think that would really annoy him. I think he really gets off on the fact that she goes from 0 to 100 and he's done that. And I don't understand why, because you're hysterical. See, this is just typical women, and I'm trying and you're not trying. But that whole... He wrote leave. She said you had literally said to me that day in a text message that you were not leaving. And he said, when did I say that?
Yeah.
And she read it out, I'm not going anywhere. He goes, but that's not saying I'm not leaving. Like,
and then he had the audacity to say that she was gaslighting him.
You're gaslighting me. You're putting words in my mouth.
Yeah.
And she squealed, you're gaslighting me! Like, this is what happened. They push these women's buttons and then the woman looks like a hyena. Yeah. And I don't want to say to women it's your fault, because it's not. But if we are aware of what they're doing to us, then maybe we can change our reaction, because the reactions that we give when they ultimately then call us hysterical, they're making that happen and we're letting it happen. So let's stop letting it happen.
That's what they want from us. I remember I used to be like that. Like, I would scream to be heard. I would shake. I was so distraught because I just wanted to be heard. I just wanted to be heard. And I'd always say, I just want to be heard. I just want to be heard. And then after just so many years of mental torture and abuse and so much therapy, I just now don't. And I just look straight back at this person when they do it to me and I just go, wow, that's not how it happened. And it's really sad that you think that way. Yeah. And I'm going to remove myself from this situation because this is not it and this is not how it's going down. And the way they kind of then respond, they have nothing because they're so used to you responding in this way that they get their needs met, they get their jollies off on it, that then they're kind of like, oh, okay, well, I can't call her a psycho because she's actually being really like calm about this situation. Now what do I do? And then they just look stupid because it's like, well, you didn't get what you wanted out of this situation, did you big, big nutsack?
Yeah, I do have to say that it's a precarious situation. To all of the listeners that, if any advice I can give, when you do decide to take away that heightened hysteria, or as they would call it, as we would call it, the heightened volume and the desperation when you get to a point where someone is gaslighting you. When I did it to the person that used to make me go to that height, I would say things like, well, that's okay. That's okay for you to think that way. And it actually made things worse and it got physical. So that's something also that I want to just put out there. You know what these people can be like, and sometimes changing a behaviour may not be the best thing. If you in any way think that changing your behaviour and having a reasonable conversation is going to make, like mine did, go black in the eyes, and I had to pretty much get out of the room because I knew what was coming after that, because that incensed him even more, because he knew I was winning, because that's all that matters, was who's winning in this. So if you can see that happening in your future, I think that's something that, and like I said on last week's episode, it's so wonderful that we have these men on our TVs, as frustrating as they are, because we can see what to avoid. If you are in this kind of relationship,
which
and you think it might get a little out of a lot of people are. You think it might get a little bit out of hand and you have to maybe, talk things down. Start to work on removing yourself from this relationship.
By the way, can I just take a moment to say queen things this week from Alessandra? Like,
I sent her a DM. I sent her a DM to just say thank you for being on our screens, because I've learned just things watching you. She's the best thing that's happened to this show.
She is so great. Like, not only is she just absolutely stunning, she's smart. She does not take Aussie men shit. The way she sat there and schooled Harrison, I seriously almost came. She's so hot, and I was just like, go off, sis. And then even just when she watches the dinner parties, how usually they would turn a blind eye to this kind of toxic Aussie boy behaviour in the past seasons. But as soon as she's come, she sits there and she's like, what the f-? And then the other two sit there, oh yeah, what the hell? Oh, that's bad. It's like, you wouldn't have said that. You wouldn't have said that before she came.
Yeah. She's made a huge difference. And those sex classes were insanely good. Like, just the boys ones, watching the boys ones, like, you really saw the different range of men. I mean, again, Harrison before saying to the camera, I could teach her a few things. Like, oh my God.
He gave sex advice during the intimacy chat. When he gave the sex advice, I was like, no. Don't you talk over this sexy, beautiful, smart woman who is got freaking degrees in this shit. Probably doesn't even need them because she's just that magic. And he's like, oh yeah, when a girl, I can't remember what he said. It was so rank. And I was just like,
when she uses it to pleasure herself, guys, believe me. But what about how he uses the dildo later to stir his coffee? Like, he just thinks he's so funny. And he thinks he's just such a great – the date. I mean, just go off, Tiny King. Go off with your backwards cap and your ripped
so
jeans.
Silly. You know what? He's a duffer.
He's a duffer. He's a silly duffer. Can we just move on to Shannon and Caitlin, because John Aitken also called out Shannon in the same commitment ceremony for admitting to his wife on the show that he'd been in touch with his ex and been talking about her, and then admitted he may be still in love with her. Maybe. What? That was just irky, and I really feel sorry. I do believe Caitlin should probably have run right at that point, but she didn't. And
Bless
instead what we got then was intimacy week with them, where they had to stare into each other's eyes for the 5 minutes. And knowing now what happened afterwards, watching that back really broke my heart, because she was doing her voxies while they're doing the staring into each other's eyes, and she was saying to camera, his eyes were so kind, they were so loving and supportive and encouraging, and they were just lovely to look at, and he was looking at her like she was ugly, and she didn't know, and then he decided to tell her. What he then said, because she said, what's going on? Like, the mood's changed. things just don't feel right. Like, you know, since we did that, do you want to talk? He actually says to her really coldly, you're a good-looking girl, but not to me.
But not
The
to
attraction is low, and you are a good-looking girl, but not in my eyes. He then blames her for his resurfaced feelings about his ex. I thought you were going to come down that aisle and completely blow me away. Those things I was saying about my ex, I wasn't even contemplating on saying that. I would have just cut it, completely forgot about stuff. It shouldn't have been an issue if she'd been good looking to him.
I think he's got split personality because he's either so high and like, yeah, oh my God, joke. He's like Chandler from Friends, or he's just like dead eyes. He looks like he's had 5 years on the sauce with no break. He constantly looks like he's coming off a severe bender. I'm sorry, I don't like to talk about people's looks, but has he looked at himself in the mirror? He looks cooked. How dare he say that to her? And why do they have to put so much emphasis on the way a woman looks? At the end of the day, we're all going to look like wrinkly ball sacks if we live long enough. We're going to look like prunes. And you're going to only have what's underneath and the soul and the good times together. And these Muppets are like, oh, you know, if she was so much prettier, I probably wouldn't have like cheated on her. No, you need to freaking grow up.
On that particular point, you know, the Melissa and Josh, which we're not really going to get into this episode, but the, you know, I need sex, you don't understand how important it is, you're a red flag if you don't understand how much you need to fill my cup and my needs. What if they were together and they were truly in love and he's filling her cup on a daily basis and then he breaks his back and is a quadriplegic and he can't give her sex anymore? Like what? I just want to know, like, where? I mean, she's not going to stay, is she? She's just saying it. So, girlfriend, you're not going to get a good man, or you're just going to get yourself a toy. Alessandra just gave you 5. So walk away, Renee. You've got what you need, and it's clearly not a man because you don't want the mouth to come with it. So then Shannon. Poor Caitlin goes out onto the balcony and looks to me like she was having a panic attack. Like, I would have cut that.
Panic attack.
They had to get it, and she knew they had to get that on air. And she was even saying, I'm sorry, but I just want to reach out and hug. I've never wanted to hug someone on TV so much and just go, oh, my baby girl, like, you are so much more than he is making you think. And then Sister Girl pulled herself together, and we've got some wonderful audio of her pulling herself together and deciding to go back in and give him a little bit of lip. Doesn't stop him from trying to interject and talk over her, though. So let's have a little listen to that.
You've been gobsmacked by every discussion.
Yeah, I feel like I have rights to be.
No, wait.
No,
it's
I
not
think,
about
Shannon,
what you
I
said.
feel like it's my turn to talk. I didn't even get to say anything at that table. It's my turn to talk.
Okay, yeah. What are you, my teacher? All right, Dad.
I said to myself that I would never let a guy treat me like this. And up until this point, I haven't acted on that. This is me letting you know how I feel. This is me defending myself because I deserve to be defended and I deserve to love myself and I deserve to sit here and say I am beautiful, whether you think so or not. I am kind and I am strong. You don't need to love me. You don't even need to like me, but you do need to respect me. It is a privilege to be in this experiment with me. I'm a one-chance person and I felt like I've bent enough. I'm not going to sit here and cop it anymore.
Oh, that was
that.
just queen shit right there. That
So
was
much respect.
I don't know how she pulled herself together after having such a severe panic attack and then being able to say that. And when he snaps and says that, what are you, my teacher? What are you, Dad?
The way his face
anxiety.
contorted.
Yeah. And the way he looked at her. I did read that he's in he had full intensive therapy after the show because he's just
Good.
like,
I hope he still is because that's an ongoing thing for the rest of his life.
years of therapy. His therapist should be his new best friend.
He needs
far
to
as
live
I'm
with his
concerned.
therapist. He needs to Steve Carell him and capture him and put him in his basement and, make a show about it. I digress. Last night's episode was at the dinner party and he was accused of being seen with his ex and their child, which he was like, oh, yeah? What's happened? What's happened?
Yeah.
Like the
What does she look
nastiness that came
Tell me
out
what
of
she
it. What
looks
did you
like.
see? What did you see? And then all
Big
the girls
4-year-old?
who were
That's what
so
he kept
frightened. Yeah, the girls that were so frightened of him kind of went, oh, phew, okay. Oh, no, that's good. That's
Oh,
good. No,
that
that's
was
good.
Oh
was
my God, that
awful.
whole
The fear
scene
of them. It was awful.
just reminds me of life growing up. Just
Yeah.
like when men around you get that little bit too drunk and their jokes start to go a little bit too far, but then all the women and the aunties around the table like, oh, that's just so-and-so. Oh, he just jokes. Nobody pays attention to him. No, that's abusive, and we need to stop apologising for men's really shitty behaviour because we're so polite and we don't want to upset the beast. No, let the beast blow up in front of everybody and send the beast to jail.
Yeah, and the way they just placated it, he still kept going a little bit like, oh, really big 4-year-old then was it? And then he said, why would my ex come from Queensland just to have coffee? Well, it wouldn't be just for coffee, would it? She'd be bringing her child down for a weekend to see her father, which is kind of okay if he had okayed that and got the okay. But, that's not obviously allowed. But why did he shush Claire?
That's yet
That never
to come
came
out.
to light. Yeah.
There was a part where he did his Voxies, his masked interviews, where he was like,
Oh,
the
and he
boys
says he
are always
got
like,
around-
how do you get away with everything? He goes, I
Put
don't
a
even know how
Teflon.
I get away with everything. So I think that he just knows that there's something more to it, and he's just such a shit stirrer and such a, don't want to say the POS word. He's such a POS that he knows he can gaslight the shit out of this sweet angel, this baby doll, and all the women around him because he has no fear because nobody's ever held him accountable before, and he's never had to look at himself and be like, wow, I really am a POS and I really should get therapy. And apparently he is. So if he is, good. And just a sweet request, please don't date for the next 2 years until you are completely free of your shit. I just feel like the girls have been given just straight crumbs this season.
The good thing about the girls, though, this season is they've got each other. Like, they're really backing each other, and it's really great to see. And that's another great thing to see on our TVs is women supporting other women.
Oh, isn't it? Isn't it lovely?
More
I
of
know, I
that.
know heaps of people have been saying they don't care for Melinda. I love her. She just
I
calls it
love
how
her.
it is. I don't think she'd be great to date.
She's just
but
dry.
I think she's a great
She's really
friend.
dry. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like,
and
in the bin.
She's got,
He's for the
yeah,
bin.
for the
That was
bin.
great. For the bin.
So the end of last night's episode had next week's commitment ceremony teaser, and it looks like John Aitken, he says in the promo, I'm going to do something that's never been done, and then you see Shannon's ring go on the thing. I think Shannon, this is my prediction, Shannon's going to admit that it was
The
ex, and
Yeah.
he has been in touch with her and he has been intimate with her and he wants to leave. And I'm kind of sad because I have a prediction that Caitlin's going to have written stay in that.
Oh. When stuff like this starts to happen, when a man keeps doing this to you time and time and time again, same with Bronte. Like that last night with the dinner party, how she was like, oh, why is everyone picking on him again?
Yeah.
I was like, this is when you lose me. I'm an Aquarius. I give you 50,000 chances. I will let you bounce back. I will let you make mistakes.
I give
but
you
if
2.
you keep going and going and going and just looking like a fool, I'm just like, nah, you're in the bin too. You're for the bin also.
For the bin. She literally said to everyone, hey, everyone,
I don't care.
I'm okay. Harrison is a good-looking
good
guy.
looking. I get
so
it.
he's going to be approached. I'm sorry, absolutely for the bin. Just like Claire's like,
jail.
no, if someone asks you for your number, why? And he really, really didn't get it. He doesn't get it in his head. And you can see the experts going crazy.
Oh,
saying,
that was great.
If a
That was a
girl
Gogglebox
offers
moment
you,
from them.
yeah, if a girl offers you then her number and you take it, why? Why? And he thinks that was the right thing to do and then delete. Instead of
so
saying, I'm in a
daft.
relationship. Thanks anyway. He said, I didn't want to offend her. I did the right thing.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. He's been brought up so badly. So
Jesus.
badly.
Oh, you're the modern day Jesus, just like protecting women at all costs. I don't want to embarrass her in front of my friends.
don't wanna hurt her feelings.
I'll take her number and I'll delete it. Like,
And I will never
wanted
text her. Ever.
Yeah.
That won't hurt her. I've done the right thing.
It's like,
The
when
right
do you ever
thing.
care about hurting women, number one? You plan your whole year around hurting women. You're embarrassing your wife on national television. You've left a 21-year-old at home. Oh, but please do take this stranger's number that you know nothing about because you're such a good guy. Anyway, there's
More
so
maths
much more.
next week. Let's talk about women not dating men. Okay, now, women not dating men. We had Valentine's Day this week.
When you do that, it reminds me of when you film something when you're a little girl and you're like, all right, push, now record again. All right, so we're back. As we said before the break, Dad, the camera, it's not recording. Wait. Sorry. Go again.
Do it again.
Go
Do
in
it
the
again.
line. Go in the line. Step back.
Rewind
okay,
it.
go.
Rewind it and start
Rewind
it
it.
again.
All right, remember
Okay,
what we
so
practiced.
we're
Go.
back. Anyway, Valentine's Day. Have you ever heard of it? It comes from the day of Saint Valentine, and it was very nice. And what do you think about it? Valentine's Day was this week.
It was.
Did you do anything?
I completely forgot it was Valentine's Day until my mother sent me a GIF saying, "You are my Valentine," and I said, "You're my Valentine, girl." So no, I didn't do anything except
bless.
receive gifts from Jane. God love her.
Gifts.
Just a
Your
gif.
mother loves a gif.
Oh, she
Can I just
loves
say?
a gift. She loves
And there
a
is
gift.
nothing wrong with it.
Did
I'm
you do
not
anything?
holding that. I don't think I did. I can't remember.
Yeah, well,
but I don't think I
it's-
did.
it's
I
just a
think I
day
forgot
of-
about it.
yeah, it's just a capitalism like everybody just
Yeah, it's been wronged.
buys. They just, yeah, it's not fun. It's just a day where people, mostly I feel like straight couples,
Yeah.
I mean, who am I to say? Maybe not.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. I haven't been with someone long enough to celebrate it in my queer relationships. But I just feel like it's like such a man thing. Like, oh, I bought her some roses. I found them Woolies. Happy
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. Maybe I'll get a root tonight.
Yeah, no, I saw a lot of my gay friends posting on Instagram,
good.
you know,
love that.
happy Valentine's to my only Valentine, blah, blah, blah. I did get a text message. I only got one from Shayna Blaze.
Oh, bless.
Yeah, she goes, "Happy Galentine's Day, you superstar. Hope you have your own flowers. I buy mine every week."
Oh, she's
Kiss, kiss,
another
kiss.
legend.
I
isn't
absolutely
she?
adore her. And it made me think, you know, everyone was posting that. I hope you bought your own flowers. Like you've said in the past 2 weeks, I can buy my own flowers. And I'm like, no, we can buy our own flowers. Thank you very
Yes.
much. Thank you, Miley. Thank you, everyone, for trying to make us feel bad about it. We do buy our own flowers. But there was a wonderful show called Parks and Recreation with Amy Poehler. Her main character was Leslie Knope, who, in my honest, humbled opinion, the best character ever written, ever on TV.
call.
She made a night out as a single woman for all the girls that she knew, especially the girls from the office, a night out on Valentine's Day called Galentine's Day for gals. And that's where Galentine's Day came from. It first came from, so say maybe 20 years ago, Leslie Knope, the absolute legend that is Galentine's Day. Then there was Jessica Biel, who did Galentine's Day in the movie as well. So it is becoming a really big thing.
Oh, she
Girls
did too. I
just-
forgot about that.
Yeah, it's kind of becoming not just a trendy thing to do, but a really sweet thing to do with your
Yeah.
girls if you're single. But what I want to say is, even if you're not single, celebrate it with your girlfriends because
Should be
they are your
Galentine's
true
Day
soulmates.
every day.
Well,
Yeah,
it
they
is.
are.
But
I
it's a
agree.
nice day to maybe make it about your girlfriends and say, "You're the real one. You're the one. You're the one that makes me feel good about myself."
Yeah,
end
the
of the
true
day.
loves of our lives, because they don't, I mean, some friends do gaslight you and stuff, but they're not the ones that like are constantly making you feel shit about yourself. And if you do have friends that are constantly making you feel
get
shit
rid of
about
them.
yourself, then maybe you should try to like reevaluate your friendships. But if you have good girlfriends, then enjoy that. Have a Galentine's Day. We've been doing Galentine's Day forever now. And even if I am with somebody, I don't think I do Valentine's Day. I think I always do Galentine's Day.
Yeah, me too.
I can't even think of the last time. This time last year, I was in surgery for Valentine's Day. Remember that? I was getting all my bits taken out, which was probably the best Valentine's Day I've had in a long time, and also the worst. But I don't ever remember. And the year before, gosh, like to me, it's just another day. And I think every day we should just love.
It's just after your birthday too, so we've celebrated you enough.
Who gives a shit
What about
me?
my favourite Valentine's Day was on Sex and the City, when the movie when Miranda and Carrie decide to have Valentine's together, and all the streamers are all over them,
the
and that's when
balloons.
Miranda decides then to come clean about what she said to Big at their rehearsal
that's
dinner.
Right. Yes.
And she's trying to get angry at her with the balloons hanging down all around her, and she can't get out.
Oh, that's right.
She
loses it.
And that's always in my mind. I just think it's such great writers to write that, and brilliant actress who can pull off trying to stay really
Get out.
angry through 100 balloons. That's the beauty of great actors. But yeah, Valentine's Day can eat a dick, and the end.
Yeah, agreed. Retweet.
Well, that's us for this week. Thank you for listening again. We hope you get something out of it. I know it was only about love, but it really wasn't about love. It was about empowerment. Let's say it was about empowerment. This was a great empowerment episode.
Say empowerment one more time.
Empowerment one more time.
Oh, actually, one last thing I want to say about Valentine's Day and just like, cis-het relationships. For so long, we've just been forced to believe that we should be with the opposite sex, right? It's like, it's a tale as old as time, and we've seen it forced on our faces in MAFS, and we're seeing it forced just everywhere. Why don't people just start thinking like, it hasn't been working for a really long time now, so maybe there's something in it. Boys love getting along with boys way more, and they're really mean to girls, so maybe they should all just start dating. And girls have way better times with other girls if you have the right girlfriend. So why don't we just like all stop thinking that cis-het couples are it, and just like date whoever the we want, because the cis-het thing doesn't seem to be working very well.
No. I guess that's just friendship
food
at the
for
end of the
thought.
day, because the dating is not all about, but that's when the sex comes in. So you need a sexual attraction. And I wish I had sexual attraction to women, and I'm still waiting to meet a
For it to
woman that I
hit.
have a sexual attraction to. I
they
ran
might
into
not
a
be a
friend on the
woman.
weekend. Well, no, I know, but I ran into a friend on the weekend and said, if you have any great lesbian friends that can turn straight women really well, can you bring them my way? And she just winked at me and nodded, and I was like, oh, good luck to you. Challenge accepted. Go.
Yeah, that's a feel. You tell a lesbian that, they will literally like, they love that shit. That's their
They
favorite
love to
thing is
turn a
turning
straight
straight
woman.
girls.
Well, it's yet to
anyway.
be done to me, so challenge is out there. If you
Well,
think
you're
you
not
can do
dead
it.
yet, doll.
That's
You've
true,
Got plenty
that's
of
true.
time.
Exactly.
You've got plenty of time.
So on that note, slide into Angie's DMs if you're a lesbian and you want to date me and you think you can turn me, or if you've got any ideas, or if you just want some feedback, give us some feedback. Please do. With 2 girls at 1 pod. No, 2 girls at novaentertainment.com.au. And don't forget to review and give us some stars, because it really does help. It does help us get heard by other people. So don't think it's just for our egos. It's for our food purses as well.
Yeah, you get it. We just hope you have. We hope that you've had the best
The day you-
Galentine's Day, and have the day that you
deserve.
Bye.
Bye.